People are so complex that many of us struggle to understand our own thoughts and feelings. Yet, here we are, 7.5 billion individuals on this planet, each with unique goals, values, and beliefs, trying to coexist and interact with one another. Relationships, in all their forms, whether friendships, family ties, or romantic connections, are essential to our lives. But with these connections come challenges, including the presence of toxic relationships that can be difficult to identify and even harder to escape. The concept of red flags in relationships is widely recognized. Most of us can easily spot overtly negative behaviors, like cheating or blatant manipulation. For example, if someone uses others purely for personal gain, we instinctively know to distance ourselves. But what about the more subtle red flags that only become apparent after we've established trust and formed a connection with someone? These are the warning signs that can be the most dangerous, as they often go unnoticed or are rationalized away. When we have a positive view of someone, it's easy to overlook their faults. We might think, "Oh, they're a good person. They wouldn't hurt me on purpose." But the reality is, these red flags don't just disappear because we choose to ignore them. They remain, quietly undermining the relationship and eroding our well-being. It's important to recognize that even people we care about deeply can exhibit toxic behaviors, and these behaviors can become normalized over time. Many of us are naturally inclined to be kind, understanding, and forgiving. We want to see the best in others, and we're often willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. This is especially true when we've invested time and emotion into a relationship. However, this tendency can make us vulnerable to toxic relationships. Manipulation, for instance, doesn't always appear as an obvious power struggle. It often manifests gradually, with subtle emotional cues that can leave us feeling confused and unsure of ourselves. Consider a common scenario: Kevin and Sally are dating. Sally wants to go out with her friends, but Kevin pressures her to stay home with him instead. On the surface, this might seem like a minor disagreement, but it's actually a form of manipulation. The real danger lies in the subtlety. Kevin might start isolating Sally by planting doubts about her friends, one by one. "I don't like how Nach talks to other girls, it's weird, don't you think?" Or "Dawn drinks too much, that's not very responsible." Over time, these small comments can erode Sally's trust in her friends and increase her dependence on Kevin. This kind of manipulation is insidious because it's emotional rather than overt. By the time Sally realizes what's happening, she may already feel isolated and powerless. And while some people might think they're immune to such tactics, the truth is that manipulation works by exploiting our emotions, not our logic. In real life, these dynamics are much more human and relatable than the dramatic portrayals we see in movies or TV shows. It's important to remember that you are not responsible for anyone's happiness but your own. This can be a difficult truth to accept, especially when you care deeply about someone who is struggling. However, it's crucial to set boundaries and protect your emotional well-being. If someone's behavior is toxic, whether they're being passive-aggressive, overly controlling, or using guilt to manipulate you, it's essential to address the issue. Communication is key. Let them know how their actions are affecting you, and be clear about what you need from the relationship. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, the other person may not be willing or able to change. If that's the case, it's okay to walk away. Ending a toxic relationship can feel like a defeat, but in reality, it's often the healthiest choice for both parties. Two people can be great individually but simply not work well together. And if you ever feel that leaving a relationship is dangerous for either you or them, that's a strong indication that it's time to get out. Your emotional well-being is your responsibility, and you deserve to be in relationships that respect and nurture that. If someone is polluting your mental and emotional space, it's time to reassess their role in your life. Imagine yourself as your own ecosystem, something you need to maintain and protect every day. If a person or relationship feels damaging, you might need to step back and ask yourself if they belong in your life. It sounds harsh, but you can't sacrifice your well-being in the hopes of improving someone else's. No one else can maintain your ecosystem for you, that's your job. To determine whether a relationship is worth continuing, communicate your concerns and see how the other person responds. If they acknowledge the problem and are willing to work on it, there's hope. But if they dismiss your feelings, shift blame, or make you feel guilty for speaking up, that's a sign of a toxic relationship. Set clear boundaries, prioritize your well-being, and ensure you have a support system outside of the relationship. It's also important to reflect on your own behavior. Are you justifying or explaining away actions that make you uncomfortable? Do you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells? Are you tolerating behaviors that you wouldn't accept from anyone else? Self-reflection is key to understanding your role in the relationship and making healthier choices moving forward. Breaking off a toxic relationship is never easy. It can feel like a loss or a failure, but sometimes it's the best and healthiest solution for everyone involved. Remember, a relationship should enhance your life, not drain it. If you find yourself in a situation where someone needs you more than they want you, it's time to reassess the relationship's dynamics. Build your confidence, establish a solid support system, and prioritize your own happiness. You deserve relationships that uplift and empower you, not ones that pull you down. If you're unsure about a relationship, consider these questions. Do you dread spending time with them? Do they make you feel worse after you've been together? Have they threatened you or themselves? Do they make you feel incapable of making decisions on your own? Do they ask for favors or money without returning it? Do they talk behind your back? If you answered yes to more than one of these, it's time to seriously consider either ending the relationship or working to resolve the problems. Remember, you have to live in your own emotional and mental space, and you deserve clean, healthy air. Don't tolerate any pollution in your life. Ultimately, you are responsible for maintaining your well-being, and it's okay to prioritize yourself, even if it means letting go of a relationship that's no longer healthy.